Hi, I'm Cassi Niemann and I am a You Can Row to Master Rowing Instructor. And in this video, I am going to teach you how to row. So this is a row along workout. I'm going to talk a little bit in the beginning, but basically if you're new to this machine, maybe you just got one or maybe you want to pick it up in the gym, this is going to be a helpful video to get you started on the right foot so that you know the basics so you can feel more confident in your workouts and hopefully see more progress. The journey of a rower is long, so have a little bit of patience with yourself and just kind of learn these basic movements and then apply them and then find more ways to learn more as you go. All right, the number one thing that is important to know is how this machine works, because it's kind of complex, but that's what makes it pretty awesome. So the seat moves, which is pretty fun, right? But that means that this is a leg-driven activity. So the bulk of force that we're going to be producing is going to come from our leg drive, which is great because our legs are pretty much the strongest parts of our body. So when you sit on this machine, I want you to think of it as a push with the legs versus a pull with the arms. That's just a helpful concept to know before you even start rowing at all. Other big part of this machine is that there is a fan inside of this flywheel housing here. And that fan is pushing air that's being pulled in. That's how it's measuring how much work you're doing. So this machine is a variable resistance machine. So it is going to respond to you with a resistance based on how much effort you are putting into the machine. So if you're rowing very lightly and slowly, it's going to feel very light. If you are rowing very hard with a lot of force, it's going to give you a lot of resistance, which is what makes it so cool and so usable by everyone. So understanding how this works is a long and sometimes complex concept, but I'm going to give you a brief overview. The thing you should walk away with is if you are new to rowing and you don't know where to put that damper, you should put it between a 3 and a 5. Okay, that's the best place to start. It's going to put you in an effective position so you can really learn how to row, understand the concepts, be able to produce power and feel strong. And then the more you row, the more experience you have, you can play around and put it in different places. But the idea is that when it's down on a 1, all these little slots here are going to close up, which means it's not going to pull in quite as much air while you're rowing. When you put it up at a 10, alternatively, all those slots open up and it pulls in a bunch of air. That's why when you row at a 1, it's going to feel a little lighter and the flywheel is going to move quicker. And then when you put it up at 10, it's going to feel heavier and the flywheel is going to slow down faster. So it's going to get slower because it's moving more air. Now that doesn't mean that putting it at a 1 is the easiest place and putting it at a 10 is the hardest place. It's more like gears on a bicycle. So that's why I say put it between a 3 and a 5, because when you're up at a 10, it's going to feel really heavy and it's going to feel like you're doing a lot of work, but you're really just putting in you're not being effective with your power. So we want to make sure that we are rowing very well when we have it up at a 10, because it's going to feel heavier and you're going to be doing more work. So you want to make sure your technique is really good. Same thing at a 1, right? Because once we close off all those slots, it's not pulling in the air. You have to be quick to kind of catch that flywheel and actually get something out of it. So as you get better at rowing, I would challenge you to bring that damper down lower and lower and lower. But like I said, putting it between a 3 and a 5 is the best place for anybody who's just beginning. And once you've put in a lot of time and you've learned about it, then you can start to play around with where that might go, okay? Other big things about the machine is the handle. It's got a nice little handle hook here on most machines. Before you're about to row, in between your workout, you can keep it there in that hook. When you're all done, just go ahead and pop it up here. It's the safest place for it to be, for the machine, for the surroundings, and when no one is using it. So otherwise you can go ahead and put it in the hooks. Obviously we have a monitor here, tons of information on it. It's full of tools that you can use to become a better rower. I highly suggest just keeping track of all your workouts and logging it wherever you feel best to do that. Then we have our foot stretchers. Okay, this is where our feet are gonna go. This is an important part of noting how to row before you even start rowing. So when we put our feet in, and you can go ahead and put your feet in, we're gonna put the strap at the ball of our foot. So the widest part of your foot, the top of your shoelaces here, the bottom of your toes. We wanna put our feet in so the straps are there so that we can lift our heels up. I'm not saying that we have to lift our heels up. I'm just saying if the strap is down too low, you don't have that mobility. But also so that we're in the best mechanical position to produce the most amount of force. So putting your feet in the right place is actually a really important part of rowing. So before we even started anything with actually taking strokes, two really big things. One, look at the damper. So when you sit down on this machine, look at that damper and make sure it's between a 3 and a 5. Two, make sure your feet are in the right place. The strap over the widest part of your foot. Now this is a very general typical setting. There are definitely people where it's higher or lower and that's better for them. But for most people, when they get started, between a 3 and a 5, strap over the widest part of their shoe. Those two things are already going to set them up with a good stroke. All right, let's get started. So what I want you to do is just straighten your legs all the way out, and you're just going to reach over and aim for your toes. If you're here, that's cool, or here, or walk it all the way to your toes, that's fine. We're just gonna get a nice little stretch, okay? Also, we're gonna kind of note what's gonna change when we fix our booty. So, touching those toes. Then, what you're gonna do is you're gonna literally pick your butt cheeks up that way, not out to the sides, back, so that your legs get almost longer with a better stretch on the back of the legs. You must do this with straight legs, okay? So we're just reaching back and pulling it up so that we can kind of tilt the pelvis into a more neutral position. This is not to say that you need to walk all the way back on the seat. We still want to stay in the center of the seat, but we're adjusting it so our sit bones go right down into the seat, okay? Then you're going to reach over and touch the toes again. You might get a little bit further and you're going to feel a little more stretch in the back of the legs. This is just allowing us to get a better hinge from the hips and not from our low back if we're slouched. So we're sitting up nice and tall, okay? Again, haven't even started rowing yet. I'm still hitting these important things. So let's go ahead and grab our handle. When you grab your handle, you're going to grab it so that your pinkies are almost falling off on the edges. That leaves enough room for us to get our knees up inside of that box. We're going to start up at the front of the stroke. This is called the catch position. In this position, our shins are going to be as close to vertical as possible. Our shoulders are going to be in front of our hips. So you can see here, if I drew a line from my shoulders down, it would be my mid-thigh. Our arms are long and extended and straight. Our shoulders are down, we're looking up, and our chest is up off of our knees. So kind of that good posture, right? We're sitting up nice and tall. This is where we're gonna deliver all the power, right? Remember, we got a leg-driven movement, so we wanna be able to push with our legs. So this is the catch position. We're gonna go over some key parts of the stroke. Then all you're gonna do is just straighten out your legs, lay back just a little bit. So if we were at 1 o'clock, we're gonna swing back to 11 o'clock. And then you're gonna pull the hands in so that that handle is about where your sternum is. Doesn't need to hit you. It's just gonna kind of nestle right at the top of your belly so that your wrists are flat and your elbows are up. I like to call this the proud chicken because my elbows are out like wings. My wrists are flat and I've got a nice, strong, rigid back here. This is called the finish position. So in this position, we're laying back, not so much that we're really engaging the abs and doing an ab workout, but just enough room so we can finish and bring the hands in and back out without hitting ourselves. So in this finish position, legs are straight. All we're gonna do is just release the hands and we're gonna go back up to that catch position by swinging the body over and coming back up to the front. Now, on the way back up to that position, did you do any work? I'm betting you're saying no out loud, real loud right now, right? Well, that is because this is the recovery portion of the stroke. Two really big parts of the rowing stroke. One is the drive. That's when we're driving the legs down, swinging the body open. The other is the recovery as we're coming back up to the catch, preparing for the next drive. So whenever you do something hard, you get a rest. It's pretty awesome. So you do hard work, you chill. You drive, you rest. You push down with the legs and then you recover. And the more you can take advantage of that recovery and really rest, then the more force you can produce on the drive. And that's what's going to make you a better rower, because we're all about being efficient. We don't want to do work on both ends, because then we're going to get more exhausted than we would be if we only worked on one end, right? So back up into that catch position. So we're sitting up nice and tall, our shoulders are down. Take a little peek and make sure that your shoulders are in front of your hips here. So we've got a closed hip angle here. Then we're just gonna drive the legs down, swing the body open, pull in the arms back into our finish. So that was our drive portion. We're in the finish. Then we have the recovery and the catch. So those are the 4 big key positions. And now we're gonna talk about how to go between them. So let's go back to that finish position. All we're gonna do is release the arms and then pull them back in. So we're laying in this layback position and just extending the arms back and forth. Now, your arms don't do a whole lot in the rowing stroke because honestly, they're not the strongest part of our bodies, okay? So they're gonna do about 10% of the work, which means they get about 10% of the rest. So they never really stop. Our hands just kind of move in and out. So once we've gotten our hands away, we're gonna add in the body hinge. And we're gonna focus on this for a second. So as the hands come away, we're gonna swing the body forward. See how my hips closed? Now swing the body open. Swing the body closed, swing the body open. Swing the body closed, swing it open, right? This is actually a very important part of the stroke because this is what's gonna transfer the force from your legs into your torso, then your arms, and into the machine. So it's also what everybody forgets. So swinging the body over, swing it close, or swing it open, swing it close, swing it open, swing it close. So once we swing it open, we're gonna go ahead and add in the arms. We're gonna pull them in. Then we're gonna let them go, swing the body close. So we've got body, arms, arms, body, body, arms, arms, body, body, arms, arms, body. Let's go ahead and pause here. Now, the only thing that needs to happen from this position is that we bend the knees to go up to the catch, okay? I am not going to let my knees bend until my hands are over my shins, because now I have room to bend my knees. If you try and bend your knees too soon, right, then you're gonna end up hitting your handle. So we need to make sure that we've cleared the handle so that we can bend the knees. So getting that arms and body over position, we're in our perfect posture. We don't even need to change anything at all except bend the knees. So the arms stay straight and they go up to the front, and we bend the knees up to the catch, and then we straighten the legs back out, swing the body open, pull in the arms. So we're gonna do this really slow. Arms away, body over, bend the knees, legs back down, swing the body open, pull in the arms. So putting it together, we've got arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. So I'm gonna put it together with just a little smoother transition. And I want you to try and just follow along, really focusing on that arms and body before the legs bend. Arms and body over, then the legs. Not letting the knees bend too soon. So I said the arms do 10%, the body does 30%, and the legs do 60%. So we want to make sure that we use the legs as best as possible to swing into that body opening and just finish it off with the arms. So, putting that whole stroke together, we're gonna rest after this one. Good. Now, we're gonna do a drill called the pick drill. This is a very fundamental drill that you might wanna do every time you sit down on the machine for a while. Every rower does this drill. Every rower knows it, all right? What we're gonna do is break it down almost like we just did. We're just gonna kind of put it together in a more simple, kind of repeatable way. One thing I'm going to add though, besides the arms and body and the full slide, is a half slide. So we're gonna come halfway up the slide. If full slide is with the shins vertical, half slide is going to be with, we could call it a 45-degree angle. We could also call it a 90-degree angle. We'll just say it's halfway up the slide, okay? So what this is going to reinforce is that your body should be set at half slide and you're just bending the knees halfway up, okay? So we're gonna start at the finish. We're gonna start with arms only. Ready, row. So we're gonna do arms only. And we're focusing on keeping our body back, just pulling the arms in, wrists stay flat, sitting up nice and tall, nice big neck. And then we're gonna add in the body in 2 strokes. So that's 1, 2. So arms, body, body, arms. And when you do this, I want you to actually get a little push through your feet when you swing your body open. And what you're gonna feel is that you can actually kind of transfer some of that force even from your legs here, just through that little push in your feet. But you can also hear the flywheel start to pick up a little bit, because that's because you're producing more force. So we're gonna go to half slide in 2. So that's 1, 2. So we're gonna go arms, body, half slide. Arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. So we're just coming up halfway. Your whole foot should be stuck to that foot stretcher, not coming up at all, which means you're not falling away from your stroke back here, right? We're getting the arms, then the body, then the legs. We're gonna go up to a full stroke, and all that means is we're gonna try and get those shins to a vertical position. We're gonna do it in 2. 1, 2. So we're gonna come all the way up to that catch position. Arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. So we're trying to put this all together here into full strokes, getting those shins to an almost vertical position up at the catch. Sitting up nice and tall so you can hinge over your hips. We don't want to be rounded and letting our hands dip all over. We want to sit up nice and tall. Just focusing on that mantra. Arms, body, legs. Legs, body, arms. We're gonna rest in 2 strokes. That's 1, 2. And we're gonna put the handle in the hook. You can grab a sip of water, because I will. Okay. It is important when you're learning to row that 1, you know how the machine works. 2, you know how to set yourself up on it. And you know that there's a drive and a recovery part of the stroke. Because if you know that, then you're automatically going to get more out of the drive if you know you need to rest on the way back up. And then our order of operations are arms, body, legs. Legs, body, arms. That order is going to allow you to be in the best position to produce force. Once we've gotten all that down, we can talk about how to produce the most amount of force and get the most power out of our bodies, put it into the machine. So, as I said, it is a leg-driven movement. So what we're gonna do is we're going to kind of reverse that drill we just did and do what we call the reverse pick drill. Shocking, isn't it? So instead of starting at the finish with the arms only, we're gonna start at the catch with the legs only. One of the things to keep in mind here is just as we wanna get the body set before we come up to the catch, we also wanna keep the body set as we leave the catch. So we don't wanna open up the body too soon. If we open up the body too soon, we take away the work that the legs are doing and we put it up here. And again, you're a very strong human being, but most of our force producing muscle mass is here in the legs. So let's try and use that. So let's do a little recheck on the butt, right? Pick those butt cheeks up, make sure we're in a good position here so that those hips are in a good neutral position. Then we're gonna go ahead and grab that handle. We're gonna sit up at the catch. When you're in this catch position, do a little checklist. Okay, are my shoulders in front of my hips? Cool. My arms are straight. My hands are just loosely gripping this handle. You don't need to grip it really hard. We just need to loosely keep it in our hands. I like to wrap the thumbs. That's gonna allow you to keep the loosest grip. Shoulders are down, neck is long. We're looking at the monitor. We're not collapsing our chest to our knees. We're sitting up tall. All right, good catch position. All we're gonna do from this, and we're gonna do it slow, and you're probably gonna mess it up, and that's cool. You're just going to drive the legs down and pause. Now, notice my body did not open up. Yours probably did, because everybody seems to do that on the first try. So back up to the catch, just the legs. You're gonna have to use your abs to stop yourself from opening up, because your body wants to open up. But we're gonna stop it for right now. So back up to the catch, just the legs. So come up to the front, just drive the legs down. You can actually put a little bit of force into this, and you can hear the flywheel pick up when you push down, right? Forcing your body to stay over. But this is how we're going to apply the most amount of force, by using those legs initially, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and add in a second part. So back up to the catch, drive the legs down. Once we're in this position, now we can swing the body open. Now we're just going to do legs and body, no arms. Swing the body closed, bend the knees, so legs, body, body, legs. See, this is a lot easier. You don't have to do as much work to stop yourself, because your body is doing what it wants to do. It's wanting to transfer that force from the legs to the hips. Now you just have to force yourself to not bend your arms. So we're going legs, body, body, legs. Legs, body, body, legs. Let's go ahead and pause here. We're gonna add in the arms. All we're gonna do is pull them in. Let them go. Body, legs. So still getting that leg drive, right? We're initiating it with legs, body, arms, arms, body, legs. So legs, body, arms, body, legs. Legs, body, arms, body, legs. We'll do one more and rest. So a big thing to keep in mind is if you can keep that body over through the initial part of that drive, then you are going to target your legs more. Your legs are the strongest part of your body. Let's use them. If you come up to the catch and you pull, you've essentially canceled out all the work that you can do with your legs. Because watch what happens when I'm up in this catch position and I pull. Now I've tried to complete most of my stroke and I haven't even moved my legs at all. It's all up here. Okay, so sitting up at the catch, we're gonna just go ahead and row just for a few minutes, trying to put it all together, focusing on that leg drive, focusing on the order of operations, putting all of that together. And as we do that, we're gonna talk a little bit about the monitor, okay? Don't worry about what it's showing you right now. We're just gonna row, all right? Don't even worry about the monitor. Sitting up nice and tall. Ready, row. So arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. There we go. We're trying to put all three of these things together. Legs, body, arms, body, legs. So let's do a little recheck here to make sure that our hands are over the shins before the knees bend. So arms, body, legs, now my knees bend. So hold those legs down an extra second if you find that they are bending too soon. Then when you're up at that catch, we're focusing on pushing with the legs and keeping the body over. We don't want to open the body too soon. We want to feel that connection here with our legs. We're sitting up nice and tall so that our neck is really long, our shoulders are relaxed. Our body is a nice rigid line from up out of the hips. And we can get good reach forward from the hips, not the low back. One thing you can kind of take note is how your hands are holding the handle. Like I said, nice loose grip, not gripping it too tight. And then take a look at your chain. We want it to move in a straight line into the machine. If it is dipping down and coming back up, you're just kind of wasting some energy there. So let it go in a straight line, in and out, in and out. We'll do a few more strokes here. Sitting up nice and tall. And we'll rest on this one. Okay. The reason why I didn't want to go into the monitor just yet was because I want you to make sure it's set in the right place. You might find it easier to get to your monitor by taking your feet out. Little note here for newbies, getting your feet out seems really easy, right? You might get stuck. We want to make sure we pull those straps nice and tight when we row. So in order to get out, take your thumb, put it on that plastic piece and push down. At the same time, you can kind of pull your foot back up too, it'll help. Then you're going to lift your foot up, then out. If you just try and pull your foot out, you'll get stuck on that heel strap. So up, then out. You'll thank me when you're real tired. All right, grabbing a sip of water. So, monitor. If you're on a Concept 2 machine, there's lots of different performance monitors. Most of them PM3 and 5. So I'm gonna go and hope you have that one. All we're gonna do is hit the Just Row button at the top. Now, when you look at your monitor, what I want you to do is change the display until you have 4 lines. Okay, so just keep pressing the display button until you have 4 rows of information. Then I want you to hit the units button until the second line down says :00/500 meters, okay? That's going to give us our splits with time. There are lots of ways that this machine measures energy. One is through time, how long it takes you to move through a distance. One is calories and one is watts. The time is the most valuable to most rowers, but there are definitely times for the calories and watts, and I suggest you play around with it, but we're gonna talk about the time today, okay? So you can, if you press the units twice, you'll actually see there's 2 versions of the 500 meters. It really doesn't matter which one you're on. One just shows you the meters rowed, one shows you the average split. So let's go from the top down. At the top, it's going to be your time elapsed, so how long you're rowing. And in this case, we would just start rowing from 0 and we would row up however long we wanted to row. The second line, the biggest letters on your screen, is your split. That's going to tell you how long it would take you to row 500 meters at the pace you are at right now. So as you're rowing, that number is going to constantly change based on how much force you're producing and how much effort you're putting into the machine. The lower the number, the faster you're rowing through a distance. That doesn't mean the faster you're rowing back and forth on the machine. So that is like your like a mile time, a lap pace. It's what's going to help you determine how much effort you're putting in, how long it will take you to do something. So it's a very helpful piece of data that's going to allow you to progress further on the machine. So start paying attention to these numbers. As I said, the third number down is either going to be the elapsed meters or it's going to be your average split based on however long you're planning on rowing. And then the bottom left corner is your strokes per minute, slash M. It can also be SPM, strokes per minute, or stroke rate, or SR. That is telling you how fast you are moving back and forth on the machine. So you could be rowing very fast back and forth on the machine and not be producing very much force. You could also be rowing very slowly and be producing a lot of force. So those two aren't directly correlated all the time. And what you need to do is you need to figure out how to master your ability to produce force, your intensity, how you manipulate that split, that pace number, and how you can master how fast you're rowing on the machine, or I should say how slow, because we at You Can Row Too like to say row slow to row fast. If you sit on this machine and you fly back and forth, you are likely just going to end up spinning your wheels. You're going to get very tired very fast and you're going to hate it. So row slow. So one, you can focus on your form, and two, you don't get as exhausted as fast, okay? Now later, it is really helpful to row a little bit faster so you can produce more force, but you need to spend some time rowing at lower stroke rates. So we're gonna do a little bit of rowing here and look at those two numbers, and we're gonna talk about them as we go because now we've all got our monitors set up in the right place, okay? So let's go ahead and put our feet in, and if your monitor turned off, that's okay. Doesn't like to stay on very long. So we're gonna make our straps nice and tight. We're gonna straighten out our legs. We're gonna pick our butt cheeks up, get into a good position. Then we're gonna come up, we're gonna press that menu button so the monitor turns on. We're gonna hit the just row button again. So it's just gonna be 0, and that's fine. Then we're gonna go ahead and grab our handle, and we're gonna sit up at the catch. I like to start at the catch so that the first thing you do is work, okay? Otherwise, the first thing you do out of the finish is recover, and we don't need to recover because we haven't done anything yet. So let's start at the catch. We're gonna row, and we're gonna together find about a 20 or so stroke rate, okay? So bottom left corner, we're looking for a 20, and then we're gonna look and see what our splits are when we do that. So sitting ready and row. So as we're doing this, we're focusing on the arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms. So I'm going to pick up the pace just a little bit to find that 20. I want you to try and follow me, okay? And when we're here, the way you can kind of pick your speed up and slow it down is by slowing the recovery and speeding up the drive. So if you need to pick up the pace here, which I'm actually at about an 18 to 20, you'll notice that this number kind of jumps around a little bit, and that's okay. But if you find that you are getting to the catch before me, slow down your recovery so that as soon as you get there, you can go. If you find you are rowing much slower than me, pick up the pace of your drive here and find that 20. Now, take a look at the biggest number on your monitor. That is your split. So, if you continue to row at this pace, that number would tell you how long it would take you to row 500 meters. So if you're rowing a 2K, 2,000 meters, you knew that you could quadruple that number, that time, and that's how long it would take you to row if you held that pace. So this is likely a conversational pace for you, maybe a little more sustainable. Clearly it's conversational for me because I'm talking. This is a good pace for a longer piece. Something that's a little more difficult than a warm-up. You can talk and you can hold it for a little while. All right, we're gonna row to that 3-minute mark. I want you to try and stay with me here. We're right at about a 20. We're still driving with our legs. Getting that body over, out of the finish, sitting up nice and tall. When we get to that 3-minute mark, we're gonna slow down to that 18, and we're gonna slow it down on the recovery. So we're gonna do that over 2 strokes. Here we go. 1, slow. 2, slow. So now I'm at an 18, and that's how you can slow down. I'm still rowing just as hard. I'm just taking a little more time on the recovery. Because more than likely, you're gonna row too fast. So we need to figure out how to slow down without falling apart. So we're gonna row for 15 more seconds. Then we're gonna pause. We're right at an 18. Focus on those legs. Push. Sit up tall. Push. And we're gonna rest after this one. And rest. I'm gonna put that handle in the hook. Push our straps down. Lift the feet up. And take them out. So, I'm gonna leave you with a few concepts here of the stroke, kind of these basic ideas that are going to make you a better rower as you move forward. One, like I said, we've got the intensity, that split, how much effort you're putting in, and then we have our stroke rate, how fast we're moving back and forth. Mastering those, being able to hold a stroke rate, hold an intensity, takes time. So if you're already frustrated or you begin to get frustrated, know that it is a journey. And when you can really master those 2 things, that's when you're going to become very efficient as a rower. So don't give yourself such a hard time. Practice. Play around. Do workouts that require you to go at different stroke rates, up and down, a pyramid. Some maybe row for 20 minutes at an 18, maybe row for 3 at a 20, 2 at a 22, 1 at a 24. You could do that a couple times. Or alternatively, you could do different workouts at different intensities. You could row for a few minutes at that conversational pace where we just did, 3 minutes, 2 minutes at a little bit harder, like a little more intensity. So you would lower your split. So let's say you were holding a 230 for that. You would reduce it down maybe to 225. And then 1 more minute, even harder, maybe it's at 220. So you can kind of reduce the time rowing and reduce the split by putting in more force. So those are just ways that you can kind of start to practice manipulating those 2 big parts of the stroke, all the while focusing on those basics of arms, body, legs, legs, body, arms, because you're not going to be able to master the split and the stroke rate unless you're in the right position to do it. So moving backwards, making sure we're sitting up tall, right? That we're getting that body over, getting the arms extended. We're keeping the handle in a straight line. And then when you come to sit on the machine, what are the, let's say, 3 things that you need to do before you start rowing? 1, look at the damper. Put it between a 3 and a 5. 2, put your feet in the straps so that the strap is over the widest part of your foot. Number 3, pick those butt cheeks up, okay? That's just gonna get you in a good position. Those 3 things are gonna make you a better rower before you've even taken a single stroke. So I hope that this helps get you started, kind of understand how to use the machine, how it works, how to start with that monitor, This is just the tip of the iceberg of all the things that I can do. And you can find a whole bunch more at You Can Row Too. And if you need anything at all, you let us know, because we're here to help, because we want you to row well. All right? Rowing is for everybody, including you. Good luck.